Day 4. Skip yesterday. Very busy, but I did read just off camera. But today we're gonna make up for that. We're gonna do a little bit more, 30 minutes straight reading. We're not doing Old Man in the Sea today just because something lighter, something easier before I have work. So we're gonna be writing some Fight Club. I already started it. Seen the movie a couple times, but yeah, let's get straight into it. All right. That was 2 years ago, at my first night with the remaining men together. At almost every meeting since then, Big Bob has made me cry. I never went back to the doctor. I never chewed the valerian root. This was freedom. Losing all hope was freedom. If I didn't say anything, people in the group assumed the worst. They cried harder, I cried harder, looked up into the stars, and you're gone. Walking home after support group, I felt more alive than I'd ever felt. I wasn't host to cancer or blood parasites. I was the little warm center of the life. I was the little warm center that the life of the world crowded around. And I slept. Babies didn't sleep this well. Every evening I died, and every evening I was born. Resurrected. Until tonight. 2 years of success until tonight. Because I can't cry with this woman watching me. Because I can't hit bottom, I can't be saved. My tongue thinks My tongue thinks it has flocked wallpaper. I'm biting the inside of my mouth so much I haven't slept in 4 days. With her watching, I'm a liar. She's a fake, she's a liar. At the introductions tonight, we introduce ourselves. I'm Bob, I'm Paul, I'm Terry, I'm David, and never give my real name. This is cancer, right? She said. Then she said, well, hi, I'm Marla Singer. No one ever told Marla what kind of cancer. They're all busy channeling our inner child. The man still crying against her neck. Marla takes another drag on her cigarette. I watch between Bob's shuddering tits. To Marla, I'm a fake. Since the second night I saw her, I can't sleep. Still, I was the first fake, unless maybe all these people were faking with their lessons and their coughs and tumors, even Big Bob, the big moosey, the big cheese bread. Would you just look at his sculpted hair? Marla smokes and rolls her eyes now. In this one moment, Marla's lie reflects my lie, and all I can see are lies, in the middle of all their truth. Everyone clinging and risking to share their worst fear, that their death is coming head on, and the barrel of a gun is pressed against the back of their throats. Well, Marla is smoking and rolling her eyes. And me? I'm buried under a sobbing carpet, and all of a sudden, even death and dying rank right down there with plastic flowers and the video as a non-event. Bob, I say, you're crushing me. I try to whisper, then I don't. Bob, I try to keep my voice down, and I'm yelling, Bob, I have to go to the can. A mirror hangs over the sink of the bathroom. If the pattern holds, I'll see Marla Singer at the above and beyond the parasitic brain disease function group. Marla will be there, of course. Marla will be there. And what I'll do is sit next to her. And after introductions, guided meditation, the 7 doors of the palace, the white healing, ball of light. After we open our chakras, when it comes time to hug, I'll grab that little bitch. Her arms squeezed tight against her sides and my lips pressed against her ear. I'll say, Marla, you big fake, you get out. This is the one real thing in my life and you're wrecking it, you big tourist. Next time we meet, I'll say, Marla, I can't sleep with you here. I need this, get out. You wake up at Air Harbor International. Every takeoff and landing, when the plane banked too much on one side, I prayed for a crash. That moment cures my insomnia with narcolepsy, when we might die helpless and packed human tobacco in the fuel slosh. Follow a green apple. This is how I met Tyler Durden. You wake up at O'Hare. You wake up at LaGuardia. You wake up at Logan. Tyler worked part-time as a movie projectionist. Because of his nature, Tyler could only work 9 jobs. If a projectionist called in sick, the union called Tyler. Some people are night people. Some people are day people. I could only work a day job. You wake up in Dallas. Life insurance pays off triple if you die on a business trip. I prayed for the wind shear effect. I prayed for pelicans sucked into the turbines and loose bolts on the ice of the wings. On takeoff, as the plane pushed down the runway and the flaps tilted up, with our seats in their full upright position and our tray table stowed and all personal carry-on baggage in the overhead compartment, at the end of the runway ran up to meet us with our smoking materials extinguished. I prayed for a crash. You wake up in love field. In a projection booth, Tyler did changeovers if the theater was old enough. With changeovers, you have 2 projectors in the booth and 1 projector is running. I know this because Tyler knows this. The second projector is set up with the next reel of film. Most movies are 6 or 7 small reels of film played in a certain order. Newer theaters, they splice all the reels together in one 5-foot reel. This way, you don't have to run 2 projectors and do changeovers. Switch back and forth. Reel 1, switch to reel 2 on the other projector. Switch reel 3 on the first projector. Switch. You wake up at SeaTac. I studied the people on the laminated airline card seat. A woman floats in the ocean. Her brown hair spread out behind her. Her seat cushion clutched to her chest. Her eyes are wide open, but the woman doesn't smile or frown. In another picture, people calm as Hindu cows reach up from their seats towards oxygen masks sprung out of the ceiling. This must be an emergency. Oh, we've lost cabin pressure. Oh, you wake up. You're at Willow Run. Old theater, new theater. To ship a movie to the next theater, Tyler has to break the movie back down to the original 6 or 7 reels. The small reels pack into a pair of hexagonal steel suitcases. Each suitcase has a handle on the top. Pick one up and you'll dislocate your shoulder. They weigh that much. Tyler's a banquet waiter, waiting at tables at a hotel downtown, and Tyler is a projectionist with the Projector Operators Union. I don't know how long Tyler had been working on all those nights. I couldn't sleep. The old theaters that run a movie with 2 projectors, a projectionist has to stand there right to change projectors at the exact second. So the audience never sees a break when one reel starts and the other one ran out. You have to look for the white dots on the top right-hand side of the corner of the screen. This is the warning. Watch the movie and you'll see 2 dots at the end of the reel. Cigarette burns. They're called in the business. The first white dot. This is the 2-minute warning. You get the second one. You get the second projector started, so it'll be running up to speed. The second white dot is the 5-second warning. Excitement. You're standing between excitement. You're standing between 2 of the projectors, and the booth is sweating hot from the neon bulbs that if you look right at them, you're blind. The first dot flashes on the screen. The sound of the movie comes from a big speaker behind the screen. The projectionist booth is soundproof because inside that booth is a racket of sprocket snapping. Whoa. The projectionist booth is soundproof because inside the booth is the racket of sprockets snapping Film past the lens at 6 feet per second. 10 frames a foot. 60 frames a second snapping through, clattering like a Gatling gun fire. The two projectors running. You stand between them and hold a shutter lever on each. On really old projectors, you have an alarm on the hub of the feed reel. Even after the movie's on television, the warning dots will still be there. Even on airplanes. As most of the movie rolls onto the take-up reel, the take-up reel turns slower and the feed reel has to turn faster. At the end of a reel, the feed reel turns so fast the alarm will start ringing to warn you that the changeover is coming. The dark is hot from the bulbs inside the projectors, and the alarm is ringing. Stand between the two projectors with a lever in each hand and watch the corner of the screen. The second dot flashes, count to 5, switch one shutter close, at the same time open the other shutter. Changeover. The movie goes on, nobody in the audience has any idea. The alarm is supposed to feed the reel so the movie projectionist can nap. A movie projectionist does a lot he's not supposed to. Not every projector has the alarm. At home, you'll sometimes wake up in your dark bed with the terror you've fallen asleep in the booth and missed the changeover. The audience will be cursing you. The audience, their movie dream is ruined, and the manager will be calling the union. You wake up at Crissy Field. The charm of traveling is everywhere I go. Tiny life. The charm of traveling is everywhere I go. Tiny life. I go to the hotel. Tiny soap, tiny shampoos, single serving butter, tiny mouthwash, and a single-use toothbrush. Fold into the standard airplane seat. You're a giant. The problem is your shoulders are too big. Your Alice in the Wonderland legs are all of a sudden miles long. Your Alice in the Wonderland legs are all of a sudden miles so long they touch your feet of the person in front. Dinner arrives. A miniature do-yourself chicken Cordon Bleu hobby kit. It's sort of a put-together project to keep you busy. The pilot has turned on the seatbelt sign, and we would ask you to refrain from moving the cabin. You wake up at Meigs Field. Sometimes Tyler wakes up in the dark, buzzing with the terror that he has missed the real change, or the movie is broken, or the movie has slid just enough in the projector that the sprockets are punching a line of holes in through the sound rack. After movie has been sprocket run, the light of the bulb shines through the soundtrack, and instead of talk, you're blasted with helicopter blade sounds of boop, 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 as each burst of light comes through the sprocket hole. What else a projectionist shouldn't do? Tyler makes slides out of every single best frames from a movie. The first full frontal movie anyone can remember had a naked actress, Angie Dickinson. By the time a print of this movie had shipped from the West Coast theaters to the East Coast, the nude scene was gone. One projectionist took a frame, another projectionist took a frame. Everyone wanted to make a naked slide of Angie Dickinson. Porno got into theaters, and these projectionists, some guys, they built connections into the epic. You wake up at Boeing Field. You wake up at LAX. We have an almost empty flight tonight, so feel free to fold the armrest up to the seat back and stretch out. You stretch out, zigzag, knees bent, waist bent, elbows bent across 3 or 4 seats. I set my watch 2 hours earlier or 3 hours earlier. Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern. Lose an hour, gain an hour. This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. You wake up at Cleveland Hopkins. You wake up at SeaTac again. You're a projectionist and you're tired and angry, but mostly you're bored. So you start taking a single frame of pornography collected by some other projectionists that you find stashed away in the booth. And you splice together this frame of a lunging red penis or a yawning wet vagina up close into another feature movie. This is one of those pet adventures where the dog and cat are left behind by a traveling family and must find their way home. In reel 3, just after the dog and cat, who have human voices and talk to each other, have eaten out the garbage can, there's a flash of an erection. Tyler does this. A single frame in the movies is on screen for 1/16 of a second. Divide a second into 16 equal parts. That's how long the erection is, towering over 4 stories tall over the popcorn auditorium. Slippery, red, and terrible, and no one sees it. You wake up at Logan again. This is a terrible way to travel. I go to meetings my boss. I go to meetings my boss doesn't want me to attend. I take notes, I'll get back to you. Whenever I'm going, I'll be there to apply the formula. I'll keep the secret intact. It's simple arithmetic. It's a story problem. If a new built car by my company leaves Chicago traveling west at 60 miles per hour, and the rear differentials locks up and the car crashes and burns with everyone trapped inside, does my company initiate a recall? You take the population of the vehicles in the field, A, and multiply it by the probable rate of failure, B, then multiply the result by the average cost of an out of court settlement, C. A times B times C equals X. This is what it costs if we don't initiate a recall. If X is greater than the cost of the recall, we recall the cars and no one gets hurt. If X is less than the cost of recall, we don't recall. Everywhere we go up, there's a burned up wattle shell of a car waiting for me. I know where all the skeletons are. Consider this my job security. Let me take a bite of my apple real quick. Hotel time, restaurant food, everywhere I go, I make tiny friendships with the people sitting beside me, from Logan to Chrissy to Willow Run. What I am is a recall campaign coordinator. I tell the single serving friend next to me, but I'm working towards a career as a dishwasher. You wake up at O'Hare again. Tyler spliced a penis into everything after that, usually close-ups or a Grand Canyon vagina with an echo. 4 stories tall and twitching with blood pressure as Cinderella danced with her Prince Charming and people watched. Nobody complained. People ate and drank, but the evening wasn't the same. People feel sick or start to cry and don't know why. Only a hummingbird could have caught Tyler at work. We wake up at JFK. I melt and swell at the moment of landing when one wheel thuds on the runway, but the plane leans to one side and hangs on the descension to right itself for a roll. For this moment, nothing matters. Look up into the stars and you're gone. Not your luggage, nothing matters. Not your bad breath. The windows are dark outside and the turbine engine roars backwards. The cabin hangs at the wrong angle under the roar of turbulence, and you will never have to file another expensive claim. Receipt required for items over $25. You will never have to get another haircut. A thud, the second wheel hits the tarmac. The statico of 100 seatbelt buckle is snapping open, and the single-use friend you almost died sitting next to says, I hope you make your connection. Yeah, me too. This is how your long moment lasted, and our life goes on. And somehow, by accident, Tyler and I met. It was time for vacation. You wake up at LAX. Again. How I met Tyler was I went to a new beach. This was the very end of summer, and I was asleep. Tyler was naked and sweating, gritty with sand in his hair, wet and stringy, hanging all over his face. Tyler had been around long before we met. Tyler was pulling driftwood logs out of the surf and dragging them up to the beach. In the wet sand, he already planted half circles of logs, so they stood a few inches apart, as tall as his eyes. They were 4 logs, and when I woke up, I watched Tyler pull a 5th log up the beach. Tyler dug a hole under one end of the log, then lifted the other end until you could slide it into the hole, and stood there at the side of an angle. At a slight angle. You wake up at the beach. We're the only people at the beach. With a stick, Tyler drew a straight line in the sand several feet away. Tyler went back to straighten the log by stamping the sand around its base. I was the only person watching this. Tyler called over, Do you know what time it is? I always wear a watch. Do you know what time it is? I asked where. I asked right here, Tyler said, right now. It was 4:06 p.m. After a while, Tyler sat cross-legged in the shadow of the standing logs. Tyler sat for a few minutes, got up, took a swim, put on a t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants, and started to leave. I had to ask. I had to know what Tyler was doing while I was asleep. If I could wake up in a different place, at a different time, could I wake up as a different person? I asked Tyler if I was an artist. I asked if Tyler was an artist. Tyler shrugged and showed me how 5 standing logs were wider at the base. Tyler showed me that the line he had drawn in the sand and how he'd used the line to gauge the shadow cast by each log. Sometimes you gotta wake up and ask where you are. What Tyler had created was the shadow of a giant hand. Only now the fingers were Nosferatu long and the thumb was too short. But he said how exactly 4:30 the hand was perfect. The giant shadow hand was perfect for 1 minute, and for 1 perfect minute Tyler had sat in the palm of the perfect creation he had created itself. You wake up and you're nowhere. 1 minute was enough, Tyler said. A person had to work hard for it, but a minute of perfection was worth the effort. A moment was the most you could ever expect from perfection. You wake up, and that's enough. His name was Tyler Durden, and he was a movie projectionist with the union, and he was a banquet waiter at a hotel downtown, and he gave me his phone number, and this is how we met. Interesting. All the usual brain parasites are here tonight. Above and Beyond always gets a big turnout. This is Peter. This is Aldo. This is Marcy. Hi. Introductions, everybody. This is Marla Singer, and this is her first time with us. Hi, Marla. At Above and Beyond, we start up with the catch-up rap. The group isn't called Parasitic Brain Parasites. You'll never hear anyone say parasite. Everyone is always getting better. Oh, this new medication. Everyone's always just turned the corner. Still, everywhere there's a squint of a 5-day headache. A woman wipes involuntary tears. Everyone gets a name tag, and people you've met every Tuesday night for a year. They come at you, handshake ready, and their eyes on your name tag. I don't believe we met. No one will ever say parasite. They'll say agent. They don't say cure, they say treatment. In catch-up rap, someone will say how the agent has spread into his spinal column, and now all of a sudden he had no control of his left hand. The agent, someone will say, has dried the lining of his brain, and now the brain pulls away from the inside of his skull, causing seizures to him. The last time I was here, the woman named Chloe announced the only good news she had. Chloe pushed herself into her feet against the wooden arms of the chair and said she no longer had any fear of death. Tonight, after the introductions and catch-up rap, a girl I don't know with a name tag that says Glenda says she's Chloe's sister, and at 2 a.m. last Tuesday, Chloe finally died. This should be so sweet. For 2 years, Chloe's been crying in my arms during hug time. Now she's dead in the ground, dead in a urn, mausoleum, columbarium. Oh, the proof that one day you're thinking hauling yourself around, and the next you're cold fertilizer, a worm buffet. This is the amazing miracle of death. It should be so sweet if it weren't for that one, Marla. Oh, and Marla's looking at me again, singled out among all the brain parasites. Liar, faker. Marla's the faker. You're the faker. Everyone around when they twitch and fall down, barking at the crotch of their jeans, turns blue, dark blue, when it's just all a big act. Guided meditation all of a sudden won't take me anywhere. Tonight, behind each of the 7 palace doors, the green door, the orange door, Marla, the blue door. Marla stands there, liar. And the guided meditation through the cave of my power animal. My power animal is Marla, smoking her cigarette. Marla, rolling her eyes. Liar. Black hair and a pillowy French lips. Faker. Italian dark leather sofa lips. You can't escape. Chloe was a genuine article. Chloe was the way John Michelle Skeleton would look if you made it smile and walk around a party being extra special and nice to everyone. Picture Chloe's popular skeleton of the size of an insect running through vaults and galleries of her inwards 2 a.m. What? Her pulse, a siren overhead, announcing prepare for death in the next 8 seconds. Dance will commence in 7, 6, ... At night, Chloe ran around the maze of her own collapsing veins and burst tubes spraying hot lymph. Nerves surface as tripwires in the tissue. Abscenses swell in the tissue as her hot white pearls. The overhead announcement. Prepare to evacuate bowels in 10, 9, 8, 7. Prepare to evacuate soul. Prepare to evacuate soul in 10, 9, 8. Chloe splashing through the ankle-deep backup of her renal fluid from her failed kidneys. Death will commence in 5, 4, 4. Around her, parasitic life spray paints her heart. 4, 3, 3, 2. Chloe climbs her hand over the curled lining of her own throat. Death to commence in 3, 2. Moonlight shines through the open mouth. Prepare for her last breath now. Evacuate now. Soul clear her body now. Death commences now. Oh, this should be so sweet. The remember warm jumble of Chloe still in my arms. And Chloe dead somewhere. But no, I'm watched by Marla. In guided meditation, I open my arms to receive my inner child. And the light is Marla smoking her cigarette. No white healing ball of light. Liar. No chakras. Picture your chakras opening as flowers, and at the center of each is a slow motion explosion of sweet light. Liar. My chakras stay closed. When meditation ends, everyone is stretching and twisting their heads and pulling each other to their feet in preparation. Therapeutic physical contact. For the hug, I cross in 3 steps to stand against Marla, who looks into my face as I watch everyone else for the cue. Let's all, the cue comes, embrace someone near us. My arms clamp around Marla. Pick someone special to you tonight. Marla's cigarette hands are pinned to her waist. Tell this someone how you feel. Marla doesn't have testicular cancer. Marla doesn't have tuberculosis. She isn't dying. Okay, in that brainy brain food philosophy way, we're all dying. But Marla isn't dying the way Chloe was dying. The cue comes. Share yourself. So Marla, how do you like them apples? Share yourself completely. So Marla, get out, get out, get out. Go ahead and cry if you have to. Marla stares up at me, her eyes brown, her earlobes pucker around each earring holes. No earrings. Her chapped lips are frosted with dead skin. Go ahead and cry. You're not dying either, Marla says. Around us, couples stand sobbing, propped against each other. You tell me. You tell on me, Marla says, and I'll tell on you. We can split the weight, I say. Marla can have bone disease, brain parasites, and tuberculosis. I'll keep testicular cancer, blood parasites, and organic brain dementia. Marla says, what about ascending bowel cancers? This girl's done her homework. We'll split bowel cancer. She gets the first and third Sunday of every month. No, Marla says. No, she wants all. The cancers, the parasites. Marla's eyes narrow. She never dreamed that she could feel so smarvelous. Smarvelous? She actually felt alive. Her skin was clearing up. All of her life, she never saw a dead person. There was no real sense of life because there's nothing to contrast it with. Oh, but now there was dying and death and loss. Holy shit. Oh, but now there was dying and death and loss and grief. Weeping and shuddering terror. Remorse. Now that she knows where we're all going, Marla feels every moment of her life. No, she was not leaving any group. Not and go back to the way life felt before. Marla says, I used to work in a funeral home to feel good about myself. Just the fact I was breathing. So what if I couldn't get a job in my field? Then go back to your funeral home, I say. Funeral homes are nothing compared to this, Marla says. Funerals are all abstract ceremony. Here you have the real experience of death. Couples around the two of us are dying in their tears, sniffling past, patting each other on the back, letting go. We can't, letting go. We can't both come, I tell her. Then don't come. I need this. Then go to funerals. Everyone else has broken apart. They're joining hands for the closing prayer. I let Marla go. Marla go. How long have you been coming here? The closing prayer. 2 years. A man in the prayer circle takes my hand. A man takes Marla's hand. These prayers start and usually my breathing is blown. Oh, bless us. Oh, bless us in our anger and our fear. 2 years? Marla tells her head to whisper. Oh, bless us and hold us. And anyone who might have noticed me in 2 years has either died or recovered and never came back. Help us and help us. Okay, Marla says. Okay. You can have testicular cancer. Big Bob, the big cheese bread crying all over the place. Thanks. Bring us to destiny. Bring us to peace. Don't mention it. This is how I met Marla. And right there, I was around 20 pages, 30 minutes. Be back tomorrow for day 5. Yeah.